What if I told you there was a driver talented enough to win the championship, but fate just said no? A driver who got taken out while leading, spun while leading, had tires go down while leading, all in the same season. This is Kasey Kahne's story, and it'll make you believe in curses. Kasey Kenneth Kahne was born on April 10, 1980, and unlike a lot of NASCAR drivers, he didn't start in stock cars. Nah, this guy came from dirt racing, sprint cars to be exact. At just 17, he started racing at Deming Speedway in Washington and quickly moved up the ranks. The kid had raw talent. He even got hired by Steve Lewis, the same guy who helped develop future legends like Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart. So yeah, Kahne was in good company. In his first year on the USAC circuit, he won Rookie of the Year and the National Midget Championship like it was nothing. He kept grinding, running USAC, Toyota Atlantic, and World of Outlaws. The guy was everywhere, and he was winning. By 2002, he made his jump to NASCAR's Busch Series, and in 2003, he won his first pole at Michigan and his first Busch Series race. Everything was building up perfectly. Kahne was clearly destined for big things. But here's where things get interesting. And by interesting, I mean absolutely brutal. 2004. In 2004, Kahne got his shot at the big leagues, replacing Bill Elliott in the number 9 Dodge for Evernham Motors. And right away, everyone knew this kid was special. But special doesn't mean lucky. In fact, it means the complete opposite for Kahne. His rookie season was like watching someone get punched in the face over and over while they're trying to smile through it. His second career start at Rockingham, he finishes second to Matt Kenseth in a photo finish. The next week at Las Vegas, guess what happens? Second place again, to Kenseth. Then a few weeks later at Texas, another photo finish, another second place, this time to Elliott Sadler. 3 second-place finishes in his first 5 races. Most drivers would kill for that kind of speed as a rookie, but for Kahne, it was just the beginning of a pattern that would haunt his entire career. But it gets worse. Oh, it gets much, much worse. At Dover, he's leading the race with 15 laps to go. Everything's going perfect. He's about to win his first Cup race as a rookie. But there's oil on the track. Everyone can see it. The spotters are screaming about it. NASCAR knows it's there. Do they throw the caution? Nope. And what happens? Kahne hits the oil and wrecks himself out of a guaranteed win. Then at Chicagoland, he's leading on a restart, looking dominant, and Tony Stewart just straight up wrecks him. Boom, race over. And if that wasn't enough, at the Fall Charlotte race, he led 207 laps that night. I'm not exaggerating, 207 laps. He was in a league of his own, completely untouchable. And then, with the win right there in his hands, he gets a flat tire and wrecks. The kid led over 200 laps and had nothing to show for it. Absolutely heartbreaking. Despite all that chaos, Kahne still managed to finish with 5 second-place finishes and 13 top 5s in his rookie season. He won 4 poles and took home the Ray Bestos Rookie of the Year award. But here's the kicker. He missed the chase for the Cup by just a few points. His own teammate Jeremy Mayfield took the final spot. 2005 to 2006. Now you'd think, okay, rough rookie year, but he'll bounce back and win races soon, right? Well, yes, but also no. In 2005, Kahne finally got his first Cup Series win at Richmond, and it was a big deal. He became the first driver born in the 1980s to win in NASCAR's Premier Series. It was also the first win for the Dodge Charger since it returned to NASCAR. Pretty cool moment. But the inconsistency kept killing him. He slumped to 23rd in points that year, despite winning a race. 2006 though? 2006 was supposed to be Kahne's year. And for a while, it really was. He won 6 races that season, including 2 at Charlotte, the Coca-Cola 600, and the Bank of America 500, both times holding off Jimmy Johnson. He also won at Atlanta, Texas, California, and Michigan. The guy was on fire. On September 9, 2006, he made the chase, finishing 3rd at Richmond. He was the 10th and last qualifier, edging out defending champion Tony Stewart by just 16 points. Finally, Kahne was in the championship hunt. But then, disaster struck again. A 16th place finish at New Hampshire, a crash at Dover, and running out of gas at Kansas destroyed his championship hopes. Just like that, it was over. The Kyle Busch saga. But wait, there's more. And by more, I mean a whole lot more pain. Let me introduce you to Kyle Busch, Kahne's absolute arch nemesis. This guy wrecked Kahne 6 separate times. Let me repeat that, 6 times. First at New Hampshire in 2005, then the 2013 Daytona 500, where Kahne was running in the top 5 and Busch turned him going into turn 1, causing a 7-car wreck. Then at Talladega in 2013, Busch turned him into the wall again, collecting 14 additional cars. Then at Darlington, Busch sent him into the wall while they were battling for the lead and caused a caution. Then Pocono in 2014, where Kahne was close to winning but hit the barrier late because of contact with Busch. And finally at Charlotte in the Xfinity Series in 2014. 6 times, 1 driver. Kahne even said, and I quote, "I don't care to talk to him anymore about our wrecks. Tired of his aggressiveness and the fact that his performances are affecting my own results." Honestly, I don't blame him. At this point, it's personal. 2007 to 2008. 2007 was a disaster again. Kahne finished 19th in points with 0 wins, just 1 top 5, and an average finish of 22.2. But he bounced back in 2008 with a new sponsor, Budweiser, and things started looking up. On May 17, 2008, Kahne was voted into the Sprint All-Star race by the fans, and he actually won it, earning over $1 million. He became the first driver to win the race from the fan vote. Pretty incredible. Then on May 25th, he won his 2nd Coca-Cola 600, passing Tony Stewart with 2 laps to go after Stewart got a flat tire. A week later, he won the Pocono 500 from the pole, despite being 38th at one point during the race after a pit road mistake. The comeback was real. But then, 2 consecutive 40th place finishes at Bristol and Michigan knocked him out of chase contention. He missed the 2008 chase by 69 points and finished 14th in points. At this point, you're probably thinking, okay, this guy's clearly fast, he wins races, but he just can't catch a championship break. And you'd be right. But it somehow gets even worse. 2009 to 2011. In 2009, Kahne moved to Richard Petty Motorsports and won at Infineon for his first road course win. He also won at Atlanta, making a late race pass on Kevin Harvick. He made the chase, seeded 4th in points. But an engine failure at New Hampshire and a crash in California ruined any shot at the title. He finished 10th. 2010 brought more pain. At Pocono during the green-white checkered finish, Kahne was battling for 10th place when his own teammate, A.J. Allmendinger, blocked him and ran him down into the wet grass. Kahne spun back onto the track and got absolutely destroyed by Greg Biffle and Mark Martin. The number 9 car took off and landed on top of the outside wall, hit a tree behind the wall, and spun back onto the track on all 4 wheels. Somehow Kahne walked away, but both he and Biffle put the blame squarely on Allmendinger. By October 2010, Kahne was released from his contract with Richard Petty Motorsports and moved to Red Bull Racing for the remainder of 2010 and all of 2011. In 2011, at the Brickyard 400, Kahne dominated the early stages, leading 48 laps, but then spun late in the race and finished 18th. Just another case of what could have been. He didn't make the chase, finishing 21st in points, but did win at Phoenix in November, his first win in over 2 years. 2012. Then came 2012 and Kahne's move to Hendrick Motorsports, driving the legendary number 5 car. This was it. This was supposed to be his championship moment with one of the best teams in NASCAR. He won the Coca-Cola 600 in his 300th Sprint Cup start, his first win with Hendrick. Then won at Loudon and made the chase through a wildcard spot. He finished a career-best 4th place in points with 2 wins, 4 poles, 12 top 5s, and 19 top 10s. Finally, things were looking up. 2013 started rough, but Kahne won at Bristol and Pocono. But remember Kyle Busch? Yeah, he was back to ruin Kahne's life again, wrecking him at Daytona, Talladega, and Darlington, all in the same season. At the Coca-Cola 600, Kahne had the flu, and people doubted he could even finish. But he led the most laps and nearly won until Kevin Harvick got by him on a restart with 11 laps to go. Then at Michigan, Kahne was leading when his right front tire went down. He slid into the turn 2 wall and the car caught fire. He finished 38th and dropped 4 spots in the points. He made the chase, but any championship hopes ended at Loudon when he got loose, wheel hopped, and hit the barrier extremely hard. The crash was so violent that people thought he had a concussion. Kahne acted like he couldn't hear a reporter, which caused a huge controversy. He apologized and said he was just too angry to talk. But years later, in February 2025, he finally admitted on the Dale Jr. download that he actually did have a concussion from that crash. 2014 to 2016. 2014 brought more Kyle Busch drama. At Pocono, Kahne was close to winning, but hit the outside barrier late and Busch took responsibility. But Kahne did win at Atlanta, controlling the final 15 laps to clinch a chase spot. It was his only win of 2014. He finished 15th in the standings. 2015 was mediocre with only 10 top 10s. But he did return to the Truck Series at Charlotte and beat Eric Jones by 0.005 seconds, the second closest finish in Truck Series history. 2016 was absolutely brutal. Kahne finished 17th in points with only 3 top 5s and 13 top 10s. And he didn't lead a single lap all season, not one. Despite completing the most laps in the entire series, how is that even possible? 2017 started the same way, disappointing. But in July, Kahne finally won the Brickyard 400, his 18th Cup win and first in 102 races. But 2 days after that race, Hendrick Motorsports announced Kahne wouldn't be returning for 2018. He'd be replaced by William Byron. 2018. Kahne signed with the Levine family racing for 2018, driving the number 95, but it was a disaster. His best finish was 4th at Daytona in July after leading 17 laps. But on August 16, 2018, Kahne announced he'd step away from full-time racing at the end of the year. Then on September 6th, after suffering heat exhaustion at Darlington, Kahne had to sit out the Brickyard 400, the first race he'd missed since starting his full-time career. Regan Smith replaced him. And on October 9th, Kahne announced he'd sit out the rest of the season, ending his 15-year Cup career prematurely. His own body gave up on him. 18 Cup Series wins, including 3 Coca-Cola 600s and the 2017 Brickyard 400. Rookie of the Year in 2004. A career-best 4th place points finish in 2012. The stats look good on paper, but anyone who watched Kahne's career knows it should have been so much more, and that's what makes it so frustrating. This wasn't a driver who lacked talent or speed or determination. But sometimes in racing, luck matters just as much as skill, and Kahne's luck was absolutely terrible from day one. If the racing gods had been just a little bit kinder, if NASCAR had thrown that caution at Dover, if Kyle Busch had given him some space, if his body hadn't failed him in 2018, we could be talking about Kasey Kahne as a champion maybe multiple times. Instead, we're left wondering, what if? So yeah, Kasey Kahne, the unluckiest NASCAR driver of all time. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to Track Reactions for more incredible stories from on and off the track.